Hello and welcome to the Underpowered podcast, where we are recording episode 80. This is a gaming podcast where we battle our
81.
backlog. This is 81?
This is 81.
How does the future happen so quickly? This is a gaming podcast, in case you're wondering, where we battle our backlog, revealing what is worth your time, money, and energy. My name is Shelby, and on today's cast, we have Casey Cool.
Yo.
And the official, unofficial, third member on our podcast, Sean Poole.
How is Casey so cool? Cracking cans there. What are you drinking though, Casey? What are you sponsored by this evening?
I'm drinking a Two-Town Cider House because it's been a long day. Cosmic Crisp.
For
only 21, age 21 plus in America?
Yes, it's called a daddy soda in my house. I'm drinking a daddy soda. Shelby and I have talked about this.
And you needed a daddy soda tonight. It was one of those
Long
nights.
Day.
Yeah.
Long day. Yeah. Long day. Long night, long afternoon, long morning.
Yeah, and you get to spend more and more time with your kids, it sounds like, so that's good.
Hey, man, I love them. They're cool.
I feel like we just got through the holidays and we had a lot of family time. I could go with some adult time here in the near future. That'd be nice.
Is that like sexy time? What's adult time?
Adult
I don't have kids, so adult time's all the time for me.
Okay,
so
imagine you can't watch anything over PG-13 in your household. And all your friends are like, have you seen the new? And you're not allowed to watch any of it.
Or if you do, you're going to have a long talk with your significant other.
Right. You just get you get 10 minutes on the toilet every, twice a day or something like that.
It's called toilet vacation. For real.
That's literally why TikTok was invented, for adult vacations.
Yeah, for toilet vacation. Toilet. I think I found the title of this episode. Toilet
TikTok,
vacation.
the toilet vacation of apps.
Yes. So yeah, we went and saw Trevor Noah a little bit before the break. He was here in the Pacific Northwest. And
live.
Yeah, live at the Climate Pledge Arena. And he had this joke, and I don't want to do it word for word. He's like, love is unconditional, but like has an expiration date. And it's true. Like, he's like needs a recharge. Like, I love my kids. I love my wife. Do I always like everybody I love, though? No. That's the truth, Everybody needs a recharge. It's okay to have space from each other, was the joke.
Well, I have a newest member of my family.
Oh, yes. Why don't you introduce him?
He's in his tank. I have a beta fish that my parents or my family thought was a great idea to get me. He's adorable. His name's Santiago. Santiago del Fuego is his full name.
The fire.
Yeah, he's red, if you couldn't guess.
Yes, I was gonna say blue, but good.
The Fuego.
That's good, man.
Away. So does that mean you get to clean its tank like every couple of weeks? What does that look like?
You have to replace the water once a week, not the whole water, but like half of it or something. It's kind of a cool system because it's set up like a aquaponic, so it has like a little like tropical plant at the top whose roots dangle down. And so it feeds off basically, or like the poo of the, of the fish. And, and then the fish, it kind of keeps the tank clean and stuff like that too.
El Fuego, cool. Dropping it like it's hot every time it can.
Yeah. Quick side, because it's a beta fish, right?
Yes.
I always had this horrible idea at the fraternity that everyone said no to because it was super bad. And someone else said it, and I was like,
oh, no, I already know where this is going.
Beta fish, and then do a giant... Royale? Yes, not battle royale, but more of a bracket. Like, just have them compete.
No, that's terrible. Yeah,
last man standing.
Have I told that story? How somebody boiled a beta fish in the fraternity once?
No. At our fraternity?
Yes. Yeah, you don't remember that?
With intention to eat it, or what?
So it was a white beta fish that somebody bought, and the roommate comes back one night, a little intoxicated, and says, "Oh my gosh, this fish is turning white because it's so cold outside. It must be freezing." So then they placed the fish next to the radiator to heat up the water, but they put it too close to the radiator.
And it boiled the water.
It did. Yes, it did not end well.
Who boiled the fish?
They will remain nameless because I don't fully remember what that person's name was.
You'll tell me off air. Okay. That's it.
Awesome.
He may now be a doctor.
At least it was accidental, and it wasn't like Casey's murder fest.
I know who it is. He said that. Oh no! And he's so smart. That's so sad.
I don't know if it was actually him. I just thought it'd be a good setup. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Well, you know what is a good setup? Your gaming setup, because you got that new PC. What are you playing these days, Shelby?
Ooh, with a new PC, not as much as we should be on the PC. Turns out the holidays hit, and I've been really diving into that headset, the Oculus headset that I got my hands on.
Are you in the meta, bro?
I'm so in the meta.
Are you getting the NFTs?
I'm not getting any of the NFTs, none of them.
You got to make them yourself. That's how you get rich.
Yeah,
but
that's what
I did see that you could buy a house next to Snoop Dogg's virtual property for $430,000.
Right.
I wonder, for $430,000, like in-game currency?
No, like real world dollars. It's gonna be bad if he
moves. Is there in the contract that he can never move? Because what if he moves one day and then just sells?
He can't move in the metaverse. He's gonna just live there. Snoop Dogg reps LA till he dies. What are you talking about, man?
Well, I mean, he can move to a different neighborhood in LA. He can move to Beverly Hills. He can move to, the Valley or something.
And honestly, let's be real. The first city that's going to go is probably going to be LA.
True.
Or all Florida.
That's why I left LA, is because if any sort of apocalyptic event happened, it's the first place to go, go down.
Those people are soft there, too. So, not everyone in LA. Let me rephrase
They're scrappy. There's a lot of scrappy people in
Hollywood,
LA.
West LA, Burbank, all those people there are soft. Everywhere else in LA, they're tough.
Well, I mean, when we eventually fall into the ocean and the heat eventually gets us all, I mean, everyone's going to live in the metaverse, which is why I'm trying to get a good handle on it. It's crazy.
It's literally going to be WALL-E. And we're all just going to be in our VR headsets and our floating little pods, and get fed by random things.
I can't wait.
You mean the Matrix?
Gonna be absolutely great.
I think it's going to be well. Or what's that one new show on Amazon where he died and he uploads his consciousness? I think that's what Meta's just prepping for. Like,
are you talking about? It was a Transcendence with Johnny Depp or whatever.
No, Transcendence I think does that, but it's a comedy. It's a comedy on Amazon Prime.
Oh. Are you talking about Altered Carbon?
No.
Kind of. So it seems like there's a lot of storylines where this happens.
That's right. That's right.
Altered Carbon, you can plug your consciousness into sleeves, different people's bodies.
Yeah, you're down the rabbit hole. I just recommended that show to somebody. So when you jack on your headset, you're good to go, right? I mean, you can live there, you can eat there. Ready Player 2 is upon us.
That's the thing. You have to be able to remove the physical body, so then you don't need to eat and drink until they figure out a way that you eat in the metaverse and it feeds you in real life.
True. It's called.
That'd be kind of sick, though.
Can't they just hook us up like an IV or something and medically just drip in the food?
Yeah, I think we're this close to 3D printing food. So once they figure that out and they can 3D print it and then just upload the 3D printer.
True. I think there's some testing going on with 3D printed food. They can do some very basic stuff like meat synthesis.
They can do with
some other
stuff. They can do Impossible Burger. That's what it is. It's fake meat.
Really? I had no idea this was coming along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do with a hamburger, pseudo hamburger though, right? You can really just make a patty.
I mean, you could break it up, make a spaghetti.
Breakfast sausage kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's still
throw a little spice in there.
Yeah, some seasoning. Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. Put a fried egg on it.
Put a fried egg on it. It'll all taste good. It'll all taste good.
So what are you playing then if you're not on the metaverse?
So really... with the Oculus 2 and we just coming out of the holidays, we played a lot of the low-hanging fruit on there, right? So there's Google Maps where it's hey, hop in-law and see what you think. Yeah. And the roller coaster, highly entertaining. People getting their swerve on, falling off of couches. There's a couple of demos that are on there that are pretty good, but I want to say my favorite story is regarding the thing called venues on the Oculus 2. I don't know if you guys have seen any of this.
I don't think so.
But essentially, you log into your Facebook, you create an avatar, and then you can go to concerts or comedy shows. Live events are playing out, sporting events too. So I put
the NBA does a big thing with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't been to any of the NBA stuff, but I've gone in there and checked it out. But I put my wife in it, you got to see this. This is the craziest thing. So she walks in, she's watching the Nutcracker on Christmas or something of that nature. And she looks around, she's like, "What's up, bro?" And then the guy says back to her, "Oh, how you doing? What up, man?" And she threw the headset off because she didn't realize that everybody could hear her.
Yeah, and probably is there a microphone on the Oculus, I'm guessing?
Yeah, there is. So after that, I turned off the microphone and it was no longer a thing. But we were definitely that first time user walking in oh, look at this. This is cool. It was highly entertaining. Probably the highlight of playing with
Freaked her out. Freaked her out. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's cool.
Yeah, but beside that, I mean, I haven't been home all that much. I played a little bit more Halo, but not really enough to give you an update on that.
Is it still good?
Games. Yeah, it's still pretty good, but I barely touched it. I did play a little bit of multiplayer last night, and I'm not usually a multiplayer guy, and I enjoyed my time thoroughly. So I might stick with it. It seems pretty enjoyable. No, big fan. I think that this is a good entry in the series so far. I got to the point in the campaign where it's the open world, and I think they did a pretty darn good job based on what I've seen. So I'm excited.
You're just like more. At the beginning then.
I am, yeah. Very early. Very early. Have you played any of that, Sean?
I've played like 30 hours, I want to say. Nice. But it's good. I like it. I played 5. I didn't really play any of the other ones before that because I never really owned an Xbox, so I'd always overplay it like at a friend's and play through some like legendary campaign or play multiplayer or stuff like that. So, but yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's nice. The open world's cool. I can see why some people might not like it, that like the more linear stuff, but there is a lot of missions within it, like especially in the main storyline, that are pretty linear, so that are similar. But it's nice to be able to go around and kind of unlock stuff and have fun. But the multiplayer is fun too. I like the big game mode. I think that, or big battle mode or whatever it's called, is pretty fun to just like drop in when you're by yourself. Whereas like when you have friends, then it's fun to do like the old school squad with like, 4v4.
Yeah, I've been playing with one other buddy in the multiplayer, and I think they keep it varied enough to keep me interested, right? So you do like 2 rounds of like Oddball and then 2 rounds of Slayers, the playlist we were playing on. And I thought it was just varied enough to kind of keep it going and keep it moving, which I appreciated. The campaign, I know that like there's some complaints about it being open world and not linear. I haven't seen any of those. Are you seeing any drawbacks to it being an open world rather than a linear storyline?
Not me. I like it because you can go, like, if you want to go deal with, breaking through a base versus like just fighting a big boss, like an open world boss thing to unlock some cool weapon permanently or stuff like that. I like having that choice versus linear. Like linear can be really good, obviously, in a lot of games if the story's good, but like Halo 5 wasn't that good. The storyline was pretty good, but the boss fights and stuff were like the same thing over and over again from what I remember. So I like this one, and the story is really interesting, and like all the stuff that goes on with the weapon or Cortana or like any of that kind of stuff that is going on is cool. Getting a much more backstory and whatnot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is much more memorable than the last entry in the series. Like I remember liking 5. I couldn't tell you anything about 5. Like I can tell you I enjoyed what I played of it. Like it wasn't top of the heap for me, but of that year, but it was like enjoyable. Like I played through it and did the thing. I think this one will stick in my mind a lot longer personally.
Hopefully.
This one's fun too because you can like cheese stuff in the open world. Like you can get a vehicle or something that maybe that wasn't necessarily intended. Like there's this one part where you're trying to get like, there's all over the world you can unlock like legendary kind of versions of weapons that have like a special like effect to them. One of them like spawns 2 bounty hunter guys to come like attack you. And there's one that's like up on a high and he's like just using like a mortar to shooting at you from above and being really annoying. And then there's another one on the ground that has like one of those brute choppers, like the like shreddy like wheel, like one-wheeled motorcycle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can steal his chopper and run him over with it, and it's very like satisfying. And you have to deal with the other guy, and it's just like this madness. Or you can like bring a tank in from like a city over because it's a open world thing and do that. But usually I just kind of like charge through and try and beat what I have like around there.
Yeah, one thing that I've always liked about the Halo games is they kind of inspire. I play on the harder difficulty. I teach
not to brag, right? But I'm pretty good, so I play on hard.
Well, the reason I play on hard is because you constantly run out of ammo, which is what I enjoy about this game. Like, they force me to switch my weapons constantly. All that said, like you're saying, you can steal a tank and go 2 waypoints over and like take down a big base. I love like grabbing a sniper rifle or some rockets and like trying to take out the big bad from afar. And it just adds like some new complexity that, you imagine they built for it to some extent, but it almost feels like you said, like you're cheesing it. And it's really enjoyable from what I've played so far.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's all good. So Casey, have you been playing anything besides Halo?
I have not played Halo. Because you know me.
They don't have it on the Switch.
They don't have it on the Switch.
But you got a laptop. You could play on your laptop.
You got some
right?
games for the Switch though, didn't you?
I did. I bought a bunch. I got a bunch of eShop money as I do for Christmas. So I like to like finagle and figure out how I can get the most bang for my buck. So I ended up getting like 11 games. So I'm pretty proud of myself with the money I got. Got some good games on sale.
Do you got that list handy? Can you like list them off real quick?
Drop us.
I think I could do it off the top of my head if I had
impressive.
to. We already learned my superpower from Shelby. Learned about how I could recall every game that I played from each year. Like it was basically my Slumdog Millionaire moment, where he's like, "How do you do this?" And it's just they're all connected to a memory. But
Shelby doesn't know is you have Post-it notes all over your wall behind your monitor.
I still don't understand how we got to the end of that list, and when you're like, "No, we're talking about each game we played in each year," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, I couldn't tell you what I played in 2002. Like, there's no way. I have no idea.
Yeah.
No.
Either way, well, again, could you name every teacher you've ever had in school?
No, definitely not.
I can. Because I'm weird like that.
I think maybe. Although high school is tricky because high school you have like,
high school's hard. I could tell you every class I took in high school still and in college, but the teachers might be a little blurry. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about video games. And I'm playing a game that I bought last year that I've been kind of itching to get to because I finished Naruto and I'm like very close to finishing Phoenix Wright because I was able to just kind of do a couple like chapters every few days with my kids around during the winter break.
Well,
my son
those Naruto games have an end? I thought they were just like fighting games that you were like
No, the story mode. There's a campaign.
What?
Yeah, if people really want to like just get an abridged version of Naruto, although there are a lot of inaccuracies that I can get into. Like,
who allows that?
Time for video game and what they want to put into it, I guess. Yeah. There's a character that loses a arm in epic battle with one of the characters, and they don't let him lose the arm in that.
Is it Naruto?
No. Maybe, but no. It's a different character. Anyway, it's a character I don't think you even know about yet.
Is it Sansa Stark?
Yes, it's Sansa Stark. And then she then comes out of the ashes, Captain America. I don't know.
Sorry to distract you. I always just figured they were a fighting game that you just like.
They have a fighting hub and it's based around a fighting game, but there's like a little campaign and some like open world. They tried to do a little bit of One Piece or not One Piece, but Dynasty Warrior battles in it, which was kind of weird. I was like, oh okay. Where there's multiple enemies and you're just running through the screen. I would have liked more of that, to be honest with you.
Can you summon the giant frog to be your friend?
Some of them, yeah. Certain characters can, yes. His name's Gambuta. Or no, Gambuta's the little frog that's on his shoulder.
The giant frog's the best because he's such a jerk to Naruto. He's like,
yes, as he gets older too. Anyway, the game I've been playing is something that we talked about last year when we did that meeting of the minds. It's called Ikenfell, which I believe is on Game Pass too. And it's a super cute little, I want to call it JRPG, but it's just an RPG in the vein of the Mega Man Battle Networks, where you battle on a grid, kind of, right? But not like a top-down grid like Advance Wars or Fire Emblem. It's a sideways grid. Yeah, Ikenfell, very cute. And it's Harry Potter, if you take that world where there's a magic school, and it starts with this young lady named Margaret looking for her sister, Seraphina. And Seraphina hasn't shown up. She's concerned. Margaret does not have magical powers, right? She is what you would call, she's just a muggle, right? Yeah.
Margaret, do better.
Or mudblood, if you want to get... And that's an offensive term, right? No, that's a half-breed. Mudblood, yeah. And
it kind of looks like, just watching the trailer on Steam, it kind of reminds me of, having never played it, of what's that game that everybody loves? That of course I blank on the name of it, as Undertale. Yeah, it kind of looks.
You played Undertale.
I know.
Yeah. It's not. It's got charm like Undertale. It's got really nice music and really good pixel graphics. Its storytelling's really got a lot of representation in there. There's characters from the LGBTQT community, characters of different colors. So I like that they're doing that. It's from Humble Bundle Games that made it, and so I like that. There's a really good storytelling going on because you're trying to figure out what your sister did while she was in the magic school, and somehow Margaret is imbued with really powerful magic, and she has fire magic, and everybody that sees it like, oh, no one has fire magic, which I'm like, well,
spoiler, she didn't have any magic, and suddenly she's got powerful fire magic.
Like, how is fire magic not a common magic, though? Like, I think wizards that have been around for hundreds of eons would be like, yeah, fireball, okay. Right? If you play D&D,
she must have really been working for that A in potions class to get fire magic.
Whoa, I had to learn that by... I learned it by reading a different spell book.
This is true, but
I play a bard in our D&D campaign.
Yes, she does, and she's not in the magic school. She wants to get into it, but she just suddenly has magic powers. So they're trying to get to the root of that, and they think it's related to the sister's disappearance. And you meet some of her friends along the way, and they have different kind of magic. So far, I'm about 5 hours in. I'm liking it. It's nice. It's cute. And I can have it on the screen. It doesn't freak any of my kids out. And they're more like, what is that weird, like, flower boss? And what's really cool, have you guys played Super Mario RPG, the 7 stars on the SNES? Do you remember how you could time Mario's blocks or jumps with the A button? As he was about to jump on someone's head, you could hit Y and then jump again and again and again.
Yes.
Or you could hit A before you got hit.
Yeah, it was like an active turn-based combat system, yeah.
Yeah, they have that mechanic. So if you're getting attacked, if you hit A and you time it, you can take half or less, or even more, less than the damage. Then the other thing that's weird about it, though, that I don't like, when you're trying to buff yourself or heal yourself, you have to time it. And if you time it wrong, my heal, instead of being 10, could be like for 3.
Oh, ouch.
So you got to be really focused in the game. But I kind of like that it's like, oh, hey, I'm active in the battle too, and then you're moving around the grid. It's fun. I'm looking forward to playing more. So more next time.
You're playing that on the Switch?
I am playing that on the Switch. And
is that one of your games that you got from the sale or from your?
I got it from the sale last year. I've been waiting for a while because Monster Hunter Rise and all these other games that I got last year kind of took the throw, because I was playing a lot of RPGs and like, I don't want to play another RPG right now. I need a break, so that's why I was playing Naruto and some of the other games.
So of the games that you bought, is there like one that's top of your list that you're happy that you finally have access to?
Streets of Rage 4 is on there. I have that because I like me a good beat 'em up. I bought something that's like old comfort food too. I bought Final Fantasy 9 because it was $9, and that's my favorite. Like my second favorite Final Fantasy, probably, maybe first, depending on what day it is.
How long do you think it would take you to get through 9?
Like speed, as fast as I could, or just enjoying it?
Enjoying it.
Because I don't want to do everything. I think it may be 70 hours.
Yeah.
I could do it in 70.
Especially those older, I guess even new Final Fantasies long.
I know all the tricks, though. I could maybe do it in 50. Like if I wanted to like push it to the limit, cut like to me doing nothing and no life-ish. Yeah, montage is the word. I got Oxenfree also. That looked interesting. I got that for like $1. I was like, oh, okay. A lot of people have heard of it. Didn't you play it, Shelby?
I didn't, but I know they got there was a lot of talk about it a couple years back, right, when it came out.
Mm-hmm. The other one I got for like $3 was Saints Row.
Oh, nice.
I was like, all right.
Have you ever played any of those?
I played the first original one that was on 360 when we were in college.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is like, or Saints Row 5, whatever the last iteration is. But it was cheap. I was like, done. All right.
Wait, did you get Saints Row 5 or first Saints Row?
It whatever was on sale. I will have to double check. But gotcha. I think I got like whatever the newest version you can. Yeah, on the Switch. Where it just looks wacky.
Is the newest one where you get like all the superpowers? Because that's pretty fun.
I think so.
I enjoyed that.
I think so. Yeah.
They just totally break the game, like to the point where like, what are they going to do next? They can't make another one of these because they just broke all the rules.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, every one of them gets like crazier and crazier. Like I think in that one where you have superpowers, like aliens are invading, and so you're like suddenly, imbued with powers to fight them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think there's also time travel in that one, if I remember correctly. Like you're zipping around time and space. It's pretty good.
There we go. Oh, I've also been playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond with my son. He got that. He got his own Switch. That's the other thing.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
And he's enjoying that. But I downloaded One Piece Warriors 4 onto his Switch, and that's all he wants to play. He loves him. I'm like, that's my boy. So, and he found out one of the characters plays guitar and violin, and he plays violin, so he's like, I'm playing Brook. Brook's the man. He's fast, and he's a funny skeleton man. And he plays the violin.
Does he want to play One Piece or Pokemon more?
That's
how we know
One Piece
he's
more.
Really your son.
One Piece more. Which it's like, all right, this is your path. My daughter, funny story. My daughter got Pretty Princess, the board game. I don't know if you're ever familiar with that. Anybody?
I saw your wife post about it on Instagram.
Yeah, where I was playing with her. Yeah. And you spin a die and you have to put on like jewelry, right? And my son had come up. There's clip-on earrings, and he has 3 in one ear, and he's like, "Dad, I'm like Zorro," because Zorro has the 3 in the ear, and he's running around with the sword in his mouth. I was like, "All right, I want to dye my hair green," and my wife was like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing." So we got some hard imagination going.
Some weebs in the family.
Some weebs are growing. Hey, speaking of weebs, I know you are. What have you been weebing on, and what video games have you been playing, Spool?
Weebing on.
I know you like to watch an anime during the day or a cartoon.
I do. I'm trying to think of what the last one that I watched was. I can't think of it right now. Oh, I've been watching some like Korean shows on Netflix. One's called like
Squid Games.
Yeah, no, it's something C. Silent Sea, I think is one I just watched, and it was like this one based around like the moon and this like mystery of why these like 160 people died in this moon base and stuff. And
did you watch? Is it Arcane? Is that the anime that came out a while ago?
He's been telling me to watch that.
The League of Legends one's really good.
Is it good?
Nice.
Okay.
What about
it's really good. I actually like the art style is really cool. It is not quite cel shaded, but it's really nice versus the Dota anime, because Netflix has both a Dota and a League of Legends anime. Oh. The Dota anime is okay, like it's pretty just like straightforward.
Oh, you're gonna make people mad.
But the League of Legends one's really good. Yeah. Like the storyline and the art are both really like exceptional.
And don't they have that Imagine Dragons song in there too? That's like at the top of the charts right now. It's kind of crazy.
Okay,
they do.
Yeah,
they use it. It's like in the intro, and then they use it every once in a while in the show and stuff like that. But it's good. It fits.
It's a decent song too. Like there's a pretty good rap lyrics in it.
Fan, but it's good.
Yeah, like of Imagine Dragons, I would say it's top tier Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, because they did Riot paid Imagine Dragons, I forget how many years ago it was, to make like a theme song for their World Championships or whatever.
Did they?
Yeah, they had one that they put out, and they've made like a little like anime kind of trailer for the the championships, and it played then. But so it's not the same song, so they already have kind of like that relationship in there. But yeah, it's a good show. I definitely recommend.
I was just blown away to see it at the top of the Spotify charts like weeks ago, and now that it's still there, I'm just like, what is going on? Like,
there are definitely some emotions and stuff that come out of the show, so I'm sure some people like listening to that to relive it a bit.
I mean, I kind of like the song, I'm not gonna lie. It's not my ringtone yet, like I'm working towards that, but one day.
But as for games that I've been playing, still playing WoW. That really hasn't changed much. So I raid twice a week still. We're in Burning Crusade still. We're about to go into phase 3, which is going to be Burning Temple and Mount Hyjal. For anyone that played WoW in the past.
Illidan?
Yeah, so Illidan's Black Temple. Mount Hyjal's like the mountain with Archimonde, I think it is.
Right. It's the place that you could jump behind like fake walls in vanilla WoW and go. It's like the area on the map that they didn't build, but you could go in and see like
tree.
what
World Tree or whatever.
Yeah, the World Tree. Yeah.
Yeah, so that WoW's still going on, and then during Christmas break, started up the Ark server again, so we're playing some Dino stuff. So playing on the new map called Lost Island, which has been fun. But single player wise, I bought a few games during the Steam sale. I've been playing Dyson Sphere Program, which is fun for anyone that's played like Factorio or any of those kind of like automation games, or Satisfactory, if you know what that is. They're kind of like that style where you like harvest some resources, but eventually you build like these things to automatically harvest for you, and then you make stuff. And in this one, eventually you take over like whole planets, and you're trying to build a Dyson sphere around your star.
Is this like a Dyson vacuum?
No, but that's probably where it gets the name. Because the Dyson sphere, if you don't know what it is, like basically a power plant that is built all around a whole star. So it's like a sci-fi kind of concept. And you get like basically unlimited power because you're basically just getting like infinite solar energy.
Yeah, you're taking it from the sun.
Anyways. Yeah. So yeah, in this game, you're like working towards that. And you're building little pieces and you're sending them, flying them. Eventually you can like build spaceships that will fly out these pieces and stuff. So that's fun. That's kind of like my chill, just build and do stuff. I got a couple other indies. I got one called Dwarf Romantic, I think.
Is that like the Dream Daddy game? Is this a dating
No, it sounds like it. But
I'm more interested if it was, to be honest with you.
It's like a hexagon grid like puzzle game kind of. And you get all these tiles where like they're each like one's maybe a forest, another one's like a house or a village, another one's like maybe a river tile or like plains. And some of them are like hybrids of those and they have pieces of them. But you have to like connect these tiles to kind of build out like a city. You basically start with nothing and you're building out, and eventually you get these like quests. So like some tiles will randomly have a quest and it's like connect me to like 50 other forest tiles or something like that. And then if you complete that quest, you get more tiles. So your whole goal is to keep doing these quests. You don't run out of tiles. You just keep building this like world bigger and bigger. It's pretty chill, but it's also kind of stressful because if you can't complete quests and you're just like slowly running down out of tiles, and you're like, no. I played Unpacking, which is on Game Pass, which is literally, it's like a little like 16-bit kind of game, but you're like you start off as like a kid and you're unpacking like your room, and you have like a cardboard box and it's filled with like toys or posters or things, and you put them in the room where they should be based or whatever. And then you grow up to like when you move out to college and you're setting up your dorm room, and then they get bigger and bigger, and you're like, you move in with like, because you're playing as a girl, I think, so you move in with like your boyfriend, and so then it's like just gets more and more complex. But that's a pretty chill game that I was playing.
Is that game better with a controller or a mouse and keyboard, you think?
I think it would work with either. Okay. It's pretty simple. I think controller would work fine. I think you're quicker with mouse and keyboard, but I'm biased, so
yeah, you prefer mouse and keyboard. Yeah. But if it's a chill game, is it about speed or is it about just enjoying yourself?
Exactly. And it's just like, got chill, relaxing music and stuff like that too. So
well, that's nice, man. I'm glad to hear that. Speaking of chilled things, as we move on to our speculation news network, I want to know how chill you feel about NFTs.
Dude, NFTs are obviously where it's at. They're going to be the next big wave. I own none myself, so I'm going to be a millionaire any day now.
You got to make them.
Shelby's been trying to, like, we've been debating this on the last few episodes. Shelby's like, I'm not against them. He's more like, I'm very skeptical. I'm taking a hard
maybe on NFTs.
We have one guy in our WoW guild that's like, guys, I know everyone thought Bitcoin was going to be nothing. What if NFTs are the same? And he's like been going down.
Is it the young guy?
No, he's probably around our age. He's like, but he's been going down the rabbit hole of just like.
Is it the guy from Texas?
I don't know where he's from.
Darkwell?
Actually. No, it's not Darkwell.
Oh, okay.
The guy from Texas. There's our Texas NFT guy.
Is it Darkwell?
It's not Darkwell. His name's Gore in our guild, or Gore Grinder. But anyways. Yeah, so now it's kind of a joke for the rest of us of like, ooh, NFTs and whatever else. But I don't know. Personally, I think NFTs, I don't think the foundation is there yet, or like the solid, because at least Bitcoin had like this technology back in, blockchain and all that other stuff, to where it's like, you just had to get people to buy into it and kind of believe into it. Where like NFTs are like, what's the like? No one knows.
It's a blockchain. It's with Ethereum. So I did a bunch of research on this because I was like, okay, if I'm going to make fun of it, I need to know. And I've kind of split my stance on it. Because I was talking to my brother who got into it. My brother-in-law was a big Bitcoin guy way back when. He made a bunch of money off of it, right? And he does data and website protection. That's just he's in the private sector, does all that. Anyway, him and I were talking about it, and I was like, so what's your stance? He goes, well, I think it's in the infancy right now. He was actually had a pretty mature approach. And I was talking like, well, how do you like pull money out of it? I had a bunch of other questions about it because Square Enix is talking about doing it, Ubisoft's talking about it, and that's what I want to talk about with the news. Square Enix keeps using a phrase. They put out a letter because Endwalker, their newest expansion for Final Fantasy 14, which is now really the biggest MMO, arguably, right, Sean?
Probably, yeah. I don't know what the numbers are, but yeah, it's got a huge user base.
They keep using it as a certain number of people whose motivation is play to contribute, right? The idea that a lot of these companies are like, hey, contribute. It's kind of like reaching out to your modding community and saying, contribute, and we'll give you NFT. You'll get like a little bit of ownership of the product, is my understanding. A lot of companies are doing that.
So they're treating it like stock, kind of?
Or you own a fraction of it, though. That's the thing. So this is where it was pitched to me. If you're an independent music artist and you're good, right, and you put out a song as an NFT, and you can own a fraction of the song, the artist would make money off of other people buying the song, right? That way, through fractional pieces and sharing it, and then the person who initially invested is also making money, right?
How does that work with the song?
I mean, I think that's a very high-minded concept, right? And
right.
And that's where I like. That's just one scenario, right? That's the scenario that I heard about personally, where it's like, think of it as a crowdfunding type deal, where you could basically split the profits down the road, right?
Right. Now, here's the other way I think about it. Mm-hmm. You know, when someone buys a star, right? They don't really own the star, but it has their name on the star, and it's not really theirs because you don't really have
Lord
the star.
titles in Scotland,
right?
Like
you buy an acre in Scotland, you don't really own it. It's just right. Mm-hmm. That's how I also feel about NFTs. I'm like, it's like buying a star,
and that's kind of like I could see potentially it being something down the road, kind of like with Bitcoin. I remember when like working with people in like 2012 or whatever at Bitcoin, and they were like, you know, getting into it, and it was like a joke back then and stuff. Like I think. Like I said, there's just no real it's barely a foundation for NFT versus Bitcoin always kind of had that tech that made sense. NFT is like too wide open right now. I don't think it's focused enough to where like people understand how to use it.
I think that's exactly where it is. Like you said, infancy. I think we're in the infancy stages. Like if it continues to gain traction, maybe. But we're like one thing Casey stages. And I have discussed on past podcasts is as long as people believe there is value in them, there is value in them, right? And there's so much tech
like
money
if you believe
going
you
into
own
that
the
space.
Star.
Well, yeah,
you own the star.
But the thing is, if you want to get like that's kind of different because like with owning the star, that's more sentimental, right? Like it's like, oh yeah, I have a star named after me. You're not going to try and resell that star or that title or whatever to someone else. Where like with NFTs, it seems like people think there's a profit to be made on them. But again, like kind of like Shelby's saying, it comes back to the perceived value by other people. Like you can think it's worth $1 million or something, but if you can't get anyone to pay it, if no one wants to buy it even for $1, then it's worth nothing.
I think that the eye rolling that's going on within the NFT space is because you have that one stoner friend who's like, dude, you got to get it on the ground floor and we're going to be millionaires and then we're going to own a yacht. And it's like, okay, like let's live in reality a little bit.
It feels very pyramid schemey.
Right. Very much so, yes. That's what and then you have celebrities and Ubisoft coming out and saying, like, hey, we're going to sell all this money, make a whole bunch of cash for our stockholders, and then potentially never do anything or ever have these NFTs maintain value. And that is going to happen to a lot of these NFT projects. I'll be the first to say it. Like, a lot of these are a scam. Not a scam, but they believe they're going to do great things, and they're not going to come through.
Said it.
Yeah.
You said the S word.
I think Square Enix and the way they keep pitching it is that it's a way that it's user-generated content for compensation, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's problems about when, like, that one studio that made that whole mod for Skyrim that was basically a standalone game. What was their company, Sean?
Was it Enderall? Was that the mod?
Yeah, that was the mod, and they're in a studio now, right? Because it was such a successful mod. But Skyrim wasn't. They're not getting a piece of the Skyrim cake, right? So what if, because they sell Enderall through Skyrim, they're getting a fractional piece of Skyrim sales, and Skyrim on the payback gets a piece of you scratch my back.
But I mean, I think it's
totally pyramid scheme.
But I mean, it's like that's like one potential for the NFT to be attached to. Like, there's nobody out there saying like, "Hey, I'm going to sell you this and you get my future profits." Like, no one is out there saying that right now. I think in this case, in the story that we're talking about with Square Enix, you know, if this is a play to contribute, hey, do stuff for the community and we're going to give you an NFT free of charge, I think that's going to be a good move for Square Enix because there's no downside there, right? It doesn't look like they're taking advantage of their player base. Am I interpreting this article correctly?
There's going to be a cut. There's going to be a cut. I would not ever think a corporation would be like, yeah, make us content and you get the money for it. No, you get a percentage of the money, and we get a percentage of the money.
They take
because we made the game.
Well, they get compensated.
It's on the Apple Store Epic battle.
Yeah, but they get compensated on the resell and the NFT market, right? So if you're the artist, you come up with 100 NFTs. Every time that thing's sold, the artist gets the kickback. In this case,
but Square Enix is also going to get a little bit of the kickback. They're gonna finagle it to get a kickback with it too. They're no. I don't believe any corporation's doing this out of the kindness.
No,
of their
corporations are the nicest entities out there, man. They all do all do good.
Going back to the Skyrim mod thing, like I remember Bethesda tried to push when I don't remember if it was Legendary Edition or which Skyrim version, but when they put out their own like Bethesda marketplace, basically where you had to get all mods through their marketplace, there was a huge and the reason why they did it was because they could start people. Like mod creators could start charging for their mod, like what is it, $5 or $10 or something like that. And obviously Bethesda would get their cut, but people like blew up because mods traditionally are all free. They're all made free because they're not made by the company, and so legally you can't really, make for-profit kind of mods unless the company's really not greedy. And I don't know if there's any of gaming company or whatever out there that wouldn't really want a piece of that money. But anyways, I remember when Bethesda put out that marketplace for the mods and stuff, and it like blew up because people were just like, why? I don't want to pay for the mods I've been getting for free for so long or stuff like that. So it's like definitely a tricky kind of situation.
Yeah, I have to pay for the thing I had for free now. Yeah,
and now you add this layer of NFT on there of like, so it's not money. It's like you're basically getting like a kind of a stock. Yeah, you're almost getting like a digital stock thing.
You're not. You are, right? I don't know.
Everybody has to have an NFT play right now. Like, it's in the news. Yeah. Stockholders want to see it. Like, they get lift and attention whenever the NFT stories come out. Everyone has to say something about NFTs right now.
So here's my question I pose to you guys. What would, if you guys would be making NFTs today,
Pogs.
What would your NFT
Pogs.
be?
NFT Pogs.
Mine would be different parts of my body. Like, I would just take a huge high resolution image, and each person could buy an inch of my body. And they can own that.
Poor game to play.
And then can they submit tattoos for the skin patch that they own on you?
Inch? They own it. They own it. They can do whatever they want.
I'm going Pogs because this is the only way we can bring Pogs back. No, I don't know. I also find it ironic that Final Fantasy VII's whole theme is like, hey, we got to be against corporations, and this is Square Enix doing a pretty corporate move here, but. We'll see how this plays out. And more exciting news as we wrap up and go to random question. It's the new year, and the Boston Globe, I believe it's the Boston Globe. Boston Globe put out an actually interesting article in their newspaper about the 10 most anticipated games, and they're kind of like clear anticipated. Pokemon Arceus at the end of this month, which I'm very excited for. Horizon.
This is for 2022.
Wow, that's end of this 2022. Month? That's crazy.
Yeah. Horizon Forbidden West is next month. Elden Ring is February 25th.
Is Gran Turismo 7 on there?
Breath of the Wild 2, we don't know the real name or the exact date. Gran Turismo 7, March 4th. Forspoken, which is some game on PlayStation that I have no clue about, but that's because I'm out of it.
That's also by the other one that it looks like, huh?
Yeah. God of War, Ragnarok, the Hogwarts Legacy, which looks like the Harry Potter MMO. That looks
Shelby's
rad.
face just lit up.
Yeah, I think that's my most anticipated on this list right here. Give me a good Hogwarts video game, baby.
That Suicide Squad game too that's coming out. The Suicide Kill the Justice League. That looks like it has potential. The other one though that my eyes are on is Starfield on November 11th.
Oh right, that's speaking of Bethesda.
Yeah, they're looking to score.
And we haven't seen any gameplay of that, have we? It's only been CGI trailer, hasn't it?
There's some in-game stuff, but it's like very limited. It's like in one room or something like that that I've seen. But not really gameplay, like environment kind of trailer thing.
It's real shiny still. Made
so
in
my first
engine.
random question for you guys because we'll do a couple. What game are you most anticipating in 2022?
I didn't really.
I think mine's Starfield on that list.
Is it? Do you think it's going to be? I mean, this is like their next big swing from Bethesda, right? I mean, coming off of the legacy of Skyrim and how celebrated that game is, I think it's going to be a big swing, don't you, Sean?
No, because they also have Fallout too, don't they? Isn't that also them? So this is like
interesting. Because I feel like 2022 has a lot of games that aren't tied down to a specific date. Like there's a lot of like 2022 ones, or that would be
Q4. Yeah.
Oh, Total War Warhammer 3 is coming out in February. That's exciting.
Ooh.
Cricket.
I think people are kind of excited for Dying Light 2.
Yeah, people were, and that was supposed to come out earlier, but the pandemic set that back.
Yeah, it got delayed, so that's always like a
hype
even
killer.
With the pandemic or not, that's like the Tiny Tina standalone game in March.
Oh, that's basically the Dungeons and Dragons
D&D one, yeah.
That looks kind of cool. Game. I mean, I think Borderlands could use a refresh. We were talking about it in the Discord a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but didn't D&D try to do a Borderlands style game that flopped? That we were all like, I hope this is good, and then it wasn't good.
D&D has like never had like a good video game,
but this
other than like Baldur's Gate and like those old school kind of like RPGs.
There's actually an old good D&D arcade game that's actually pretty good. That would like Golden Axe style, where it's a beat 'em up with D&D elements. That's not bad. But no, it came out this last year, and people were really hyped on it for a little bit, and it's like the 4-player battler.
It was like that Left 4 Dead, not Left 4 Dead style, but
it is
kind of that like 4-player. You go through a thing. What else? What other game? Vermintide is kind of like that style.
Yes, it's like Vermintide.
I remember, and there was just like completely broken abilities, and like it was not polished enough.
Needed more time in the oven.
Needs to bake a little longer. And trust me, any of these games could be in that same scenario. Like, COVID is real. COVID is happening. It put the world upside down. So any of these could easily
Dark Alliance. Dark Alliance was the game.
There's that game Redfall. Like, I only really know about it because I work at Xbox. But they it's being made by Arcane Studios, which did like the Dishonored games. It's that one that's kind of like, they're kind of like vampires. I haven't played it. I don't know anything about it other than like the trailers, like everyone else.
Vampires,
but it's like a weird vampire-y kind of game. But it looks interesting. I think it's kind of Left 4 Dead style, but I could be totally wrong too.
I think that Hogwarts could be a really cool game if they can pull it off. I think that the Harry Potter universe, though it's been mined quite a bit in regards to content, I think that there's a lot of places they could go if they do that game correctly. I mean, there is a dark side of the Harry Potter universe that I don't think is explored as well as it could be. Mind you, I have not seen the most recent trilogy. I saw like the core 7 movies. But I really think they have an opportunity here, and I hope they don't fumble it, because there's a really good chance they will.
Casey, have you seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge?
Oh, I'm on the Discord for that. That was actually a good segue.
That's 2022.
I'm excited for that. That's from the same company who made the Streets of Rage 4 remake, and they make those River City Girls. They do beat 'em ups very well, and they do them justice, and they do cool, sweet like pixel art with it. That is definitely on there. And my other one, I like Zelda, obviously Breath of the Wild 2. Triangle Strategy is actually one that I'm really I pre-ordered that. I did not pre-order Pokemon Arceus. I'm gonna wait and get that, which I'm excited for. But I'm a little hesitant about Pokemon Arceus because I have expectations for it, and I'm trying to quell those so I can go to it. But Triangle Strategy is the next company from the team that makes Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default, that section of Square. And it's a grid battler, and it gives me the Final Fantasy Tactics feels. And if you didn't know, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my top 3 games of all time. Story, gameplay, everything about it, min-maxing. So and that comes out March 4th, and I'm very, very excited for that.
Oh man, Diablo Immortals finally coming out next year.
The phone game?
Yeah, that's the one that got memed into like non-existence. I forget, like 4+ years ago.
I always remember the crowd's reaction.
Oh, they went radio silent on that, didn't they? Like they didn't say anything after that.
Because they had built up so long, like, oh, new Diablo thing, new Diablo, whatever, and people were like, oh, Diablo 4, you know, like super excited, and then it came out with Diablo Immortals. It's a phone iOS game. And everyone's like, what?
So as a kid, Diablo scared me, and we got a question in our question section of our Discord, and I wanted to answer that. And I'll pull it up right now if I can find it, because I was thinking about that. Because I didn't like, I was a little scared to play Final Fantasy VII because I'm a big old wimp. But what is your opinion on horror games? How do you guys feel about them?
How do I feel about it? I feel like they're scary. It scares.
That's my stance. But you play them.
I do.
Yeah, do you
I
play
mean,
them?
from time to time, I'm playing Left 4 Dead 2 kind of right now, and that seems like it has horror films.
There's, I was gonna say there's different categories, because there's like the jump scary ones, like Outlast. You know, Resident Evil kind of falls into that, especially the newer ones do. There
Dead
is
Space,
the ones that are just like a horror kind of atmosphere, which is like Left 4 Dead, you know, that kind of stuff. Dead Space is like definitely kind of like jump scary with like the evil babies.
What about Five Nights at Freddy's? Because I know they just dropped something
that's
new.
That's literally
that
just jump
really
scares, right? Isn't Five Nights at Freddy's literally jump scares? I don't know. I haven't played the newest one. It might have kind of changed, but I've played up to like, what was it, the sister or the ballerina one or whatever that one was, the like kind of spin-off one.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel that those are jump scare games, and I'm completely writing them off. I know there's how many are there? There's like 6, 10, 20 of them. I don't even know. I know there's many of them. They've been reiterated. They're probably great. I've been too much of a chicken to watch any of that stuff.
I don't like feeling scared, but I love watching people scream like little girls that don't expect. There's this guy, he's a TikToker, and he has a Twitch channel. He's named Mac Taylor Lifts. He's a weightlifter. He's a big buff dude. And he gets very scared. And I'm like, yes, that's right. Like, it's very like, like he gets over the top scared. Oh, yeah. Like, it's fun to watch him get scared because he's so silly about it.
It's fun. I like them the first time kind of through. There were parts in Outlast 2 when I played it. I ended up hating it by the end of it because there were parts where you, like, sequences where you had to like run basically through like this thing and duck and dive and go through stuff. But then, like, after the first time, those initial kind of scares or whatever, it just gets annoying, like, having to do it over and over again because you failed or something like that. And you're like, I'm not scared anymore. I'm just pissed off at this guy that, you know, basically is hacking, like, getting me through walls and stuff.
Yeah, I will say,
I enjoy it.
In regards to horror, I think my favorite part of the horror series is when they really build tension. You know, like, if you're going through a funhouse with jump scares, you know, they are building tension, but you're just looking for that quick release that comes out of nowhere. You know, I think my favorite part of the horror genre is on display in Last of Us and Dead Space. And it's part of the reason I want to go back and play some Resident Evil games, to be honest with you. But that world building, and like, I only have 3 shots left. I better conserve these pieces of ammo because I don't know what's coming next. Like, I've always really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Resident Evil 4 back in the day, and we're going back 15 years, 10 years
That
now.
just reminded me. Aren't they're remaking Dead Space or like rebooting it or something?
I think you're right.
Remastering?
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a new game, but I don't know if it's like same storyline or anything, or like if it's a different storyline or what. But
and I'm in line for that.
They teased it.
If it's like a new storyline, I thought for a second it was a remake of the original, and remakes don't really do much for me. But for Dead Space, I'd probably go back and try it out. Especially if they have those flying baby zombies. Yeah, no thanks.
I can't believe they got rid of the babies by 3, I think, because of like public outcry or just kind of like being more PC, not having people kill babies.
Hashtag like bring back the babies.
Yeah, that can get people mad. Killing babies.
They had tentacles, Casey. What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do? They're obviously
you
evil.
Grab them and you slam those babies in there. Babies are technically born with the tentacle. It's called an umbilical cord, sir. So you just kill all their umbilical cords.
Oh.
All right. Okay.
That's a hot tip from
Casey. Casey.
Hot tip.
I remember they had those dogs that had 3 tentacles coming out of their backs in Dead Space. Those were terrifying as well. I'd be down for a Dead Space game.
Not tentacles.
Three umbilical cords. Much less intimidating. I'm also looking at a list of 2022 releases. I know we kind of left that, but there is a Saints Row game that's supposed to come out next year, Casey. So get excited about that.
Oh, man. I mean, I could also hate that game, so I'll prepare myself. I'm either or on that. It could be just so stupid. I'm like, I'm out. Or it could be so stupid.
I don't know, that first game you were able to drive around a septic truck and like spray things down with sewage.
Yeah. Yes, you were.
They've diverted so because they used to be so close to like the GTA games and play style, and it was just silliness on top of it. And now they're just like their own. They've gone their own path.
Do you remember the insurance fraud mini game where you just go and ragdoll in traffic and try to gain as many points as you could?
Don't play that in real life. That's actually the life lesson there. But don't do anything in Saints Row in real life. I think
how do I get money for free, Casey?
NFTs. I told you.
NFTs. Right. Hey, I do want to shout out a big thank you to Declan. Yeah. There you go. Declan, thanks for shooting over that question. Feel free to keep them coming. Yeah. Horror games. Maybe we'll grow up and actually like try to face our fears one day.
Maybe all together in the dark.
Yes. You know what we should do is get Casey to the studio, turn off all the lights, and have him play Five Nights at Freddy's.
I would do that with you guys.
Is it worse when someone else is playing or when you're playing?
When you're playing. Easily. Because you're like, you're like, I'm in this on my own. Where like Left 4 Dead doesn't scare me because I'm with my crew. Something might jump up and scare me, but
right, you can run back to your friends.
Yeah, Back 4 Blood was like more frantic scared than actually eerie scary.
Well, I think that's it for the night, gentlemen.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean. Nice to see you, buddy.
New us.
Back on our normal recording day, so hopefully we'll get
definitely. If you want more of us, feel free to follow us on our social channels. Those are in the attached description. We're also on Discord, chatting away. Come drop us a line. Feel free to leave us a review, 5 stars if you'd be so kind. And that is a wrap for this week. We are out.
Play your game.